What's going on? Did y'all catch this hearing
What about the Oscars?
with the preliminary hearing and all the deets and everything? Listen, I never thought that they were gonna get this guy, and apparently they did. Right? Okay, cool. A year later, first of all, a year later. Secondly, let's start with what. Okay, I always thought that David did it. He hasn't been found guilty, right? Okay. But I always thought he did it. But I didn't think that they were going to pull him in. But a lot of times in situations, they end up, you know, having to do that, even though they use you. This story they're saying about he did it for financial gain. Okay, of course he doesn't want her to mess up his career by possibly telling some things. I don't think it was just about her telling about him and her. So many people knew. Too many people knew. Her family knew. I'm pretty sure his family knew. Everybody around him knew. So when they didn't see Celeste anymore, nobody suspected anything. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. Why would he do that? Do I think he had a sick obsession with that type of stuff, or however you want to label it, and he wanted to do it? There's people out here who do that, right? Who have these issues, who want they have to kill somebody. There was a case I was just looking at, but I can't remember it right now. But it was that type of situation. Dude just deleted his friends on some YN Melly type stuff because he just felt like he had to delete someone. Couldn't wait. No other reason than that. All the signs are there. His interviews, he clearly says he's, so dark and separated and not empathetic that he has to go all his way to try to take a break from these things so that he could somewhat connect and feel in touch or appear human, or however. I'm not wording it the same way as him, but I think y'all get the point. Now, why would he do it? Outside of that, what else would he do it? Celeste isn't the only person that could tell on him or even was trying to tell on him. Let's be clear. We all know there were people calling him out already. There were people making threats already. There were people talking already. There were people trying to get the word out about him and Celeste anyway. So Celeste wouldn't be a sole threat. And she isn't the only person that can come and say, he was doing this to me. So why take the risk of doing all that with her and dismembering her and everything like that? Why? Why was it so sloppily done? I'm pretty sure it was more sloppily than we know and are being told, because police didn't do an investigation. Why not? Why did the police not investigate properly? They could have found DNA evidence, blood spatter, and all kinds of stuff. But they didn't. They didn't. It's also partially the family's fault because they knew what was going on. They knew what she was. They played that game. They allegedly got paid from him to do so. And we still ain't heard from them. They haven't stood by police at no press conference. They have not come on here and said one thing one time. And we heard him saying to her that he was going to deal with the family when she was complaining about them not letting her, whatever, whatever. And he sounded very confident about that. Mm. You think this kid who just wanted to make music because of the copyright got all this power on his own off the strength that he got a lot of fans? Come on now. If you've been paying attention over here, I think you pretty much can catch on. They absolutely love to use people, don't they? Remember the case we just went over, wait, last night? A year later, and they just now arrested him. And if y'all think they doing it the best way to ensure that they get a conviction, I guarantee you they're not. Let's start with information they claim they don't want to be leaked, getting leaked anyway. Ain't no way on something this serious that anything should have been leaked, aka the autopsy. They didn't want to say she was dismembered. Some people still listen. That makes sense. That makes sense. That can impede the investigation. It's weird for y'all to want all information about something like that that happens without them being able to catch the person. You know, when they went to the house, why they leave so much stuff behind? Why didn't they tape off the house and do forensics on the house? Why wasn't the house seen as a crime scene and investigated? Why would they leave? If you find a body that is dismembered in this guy's car, and you go to his house and he got stuff like saws, uh, burn cages, because what else you gonna do with pieces? You can't, you really can't burn it. But they said he had a burn cage. What kind of burn cage? To me, it doesn't really matter, because I don't expect someone to be a full expert when they're doing something like this. So it doesn't matter whether it was capable of burning an actual body and bones and everything. It still makes sense that that will be the thought of that person while they chopping it up. Okay, I'll burn it. Because unless you're feeding it to hogs, if you're from the country, you already know what I'm talking about. Or if you got a hippopotamus around, you know, something like that. Best thing you're going to get is a hog or pig, because people might have a hog or pig around. They'll eat every drop. Chickens will. Okay? But a burn cage, hacksaw, they left that behind. They left a lot of stuff behind. And they didn't do forensics on that place. Dude probably renting it out. He could turn it into a tourist spot. He could do whatever he wanted to do with it. They didn't go in there and really gather evidence. I think they did put on a show. They put on a show. You don't leave that stuff behind. Now, the guy who went there in the house, he found a lot of stuff that they should have taken. He also found, did he say an SD card that had videos and stuff of Celeste on it? Come on, there's no way they're gonna leave all that stuff behind when you found an actual child dismembered in this guy's vehicle. He didn't report it stolen, so you can't say it's stolen. You didn't report it stolen. What happened? Why did they not continue to? They is just that is a possibility. It's more than one person. Do I believe others knew what he did? I think everybody around him in his circle knew what he did, especially after it was said that she was found. They know this dude. He tells on himself with this in his music, and it's too many people that seem like they want to try to the music and say, oh, it's just coincidence that it's so similar and Celeste is all up in it. Ain't no way. If they can use Murder on My Mind by YN Melly, you definitely can look at his videos and his songs and see that that dude don't have no feelings. I forget what it's called about people who don't have no emotional, like no empathy, no sympathy. You can look at it. First of all, he ugly as fuck. I just gotta say that. And he look even uglier now. For some odd reason. Maybe he is really stressed about this situation. Maybe he lost his mind for a while and thought he was something other than what he really is. Or maybe he thought he had more protection in that. It's something. Even though he seems detached and confident, you can see it in his face and everything. Okay? Just like you can see the stress of me being a all the time truck driver now, just compared to a month or so ago. You can see the weight gain, everything. You can see it in his face. You can see it in his face. His ugly face. You can see it. You can see it. But are they going to convict him? Do they even want to? Are they even trying? Trying to create a simple story like that? No. No. This to me is some kind of ritual type thing. I just think that he dropped the ball and did not finish and just went on his tour. Who would do that? Except for an idiot, but who would do that? If you go that far, why would you get sloppy at the end and then stupid at the end because you have some parts in a body bag? Okay, kudos for you on that. Because then the body bag is built to be a body bag, right? Hold the body. It's made in a field by people who know exactly what happens when you pass and your body decomposes. It's almost a year now where my father was decomposing on my carpet. Okay, and I have done hospice. I've seen dead bodies. I've cleaned up dead bodies. I've cleaned up after the body was there as a job, all that stuff. But I have not seen a decomposing body. And it's messy. I thought it was messy how when after you pass and the body relaxes and everything just comes out. Oh, decomposing is messy. It's like you're melting away. You're rotting away and you're melting away. And in other words, there will be a lot of fluid. Okay, they say I think women are 75% water, men are a little less. All that's coming out. All that's coming out. Your skin detaches. It's a hot mess. It is. And that can happen really quickly with warm temperatures. A body bag is made strong enough, okay? It's not a trash bag. It's going to hold those fluids in. There will be no holes for that to leak out or none of that. Now, to have other parts in a trash bag, what is that? Is that sloppiness, laziness? I thought it would all fit in a body bag. Would it have fit? What size was the body bag? Was it a child's body bag for a baby or something? Or was it an adult body bag? So why wouldn't the parts all fit? Was it because, oh, I'm going to do something over here with some parts and because sometimes people can think, let's put the parts in separate places, right? What will be the reason to have some of her in one body bag and some of her in another body in another bag that just isn't a body bag? I guess it was a trash bag, something where it can leak out. And then in basically an oven is what she would have been in. However, I'm shocked that she wasn't as decomposed as I thought she would be, even to have been in that trunk. So when did this girl pass away? How do we know? Unless we know them and we seen her. Then they got this look-alike chick that he had. It's a lot more to this. It's a lot more to this. I done said it, and it's a lot of people hiding a lot of stuff about this situation. You got a decoy for whatever sick reason. You talking about this in your music. Okay, that's sick and demonic and bold. They can hold on. I know she was a light complected girl, right? But she's decomposed. So they could see tattoos on her fingers. Interesting. Interesting. So they got a lot to work with there. If you can see fingers, tattoos on fingers, that's a lot to work with. That's a lot to work with. If you're describing that off of the onset of finding her body, I'm not talking about the coroner checking and doing a, really looking maybe with a microscope. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you can visibly see upon finding her body tattoos, but her face, they said her face was something you couldn't even recognize features and things like that. So the rest of her body wasn't as bad as her face. It's something else going on there that they're not saying. Something was done to her face. Something was done to her face, because you can pull structure and all kind of things. I did a little criminal justice schooling, so it's something was done to her face to make sure that you don't see a face. The finger being missing that had a tattoo of his name on it, and the pinky. Was there some signature handshake they did? Like, why the finger and the pinky? It could seem like, oh, somebody tried to set him up because they removed that finger. No, I do believe he did this. I definitely believe he did this. Then you have the girls that came forward. Hey, I was dating them too. Underage girls, of course. Of course, I was dating them too. Didn't even know he was with her. Here's the proof. Okay, go to the cops. The cops is like, okay, what you want, a cookie? I mean, that's pretty much their reaction. How can that not be important? It doesn't even matter if this wasn't even a murder case, right? Let's say he stole something from the store. You got them reporting, hey, that guy, this is what he was doing. Why wouldn't they jump at the chance to punish him for that? Weird. I feel like they have completely changed on crimes against children, just like they did when back in the day it used to be illegal to be gay. Like, if you're gay, you were an outcast, you were considered insane, blah blah blah. And then look at how things are now, not at the people, but at how they look at it, how they treat it. Complete difference. And it happened really quickly all of a sudden. It's like they're like that against crimes against children. It doesn't really seem to matter to law enforcement anymore. We know there's so many people that are involved with this type of stuff, but they just don't even want to pretend to care. Why would they not consider what the girls are saying as very important parts of this case? And add that and add them to the case. Why would he not get charged correctly for even being with Celeste underage? Especially when it's rumored, at least, that he met her at 11 and whatnot. It's just something really weird about that. Now, the parents, the family, why would they let it be listed as she is a runaway when they know where she is? They know where she at, who she's seeing, and all that. They know she's not necessarily a runaway, but to a degree, I believe she probably was. I believe she probably did run away off and on here and there, especially since she was having conversations with him about, my parents don't want to let me. But when you got a kid, they want to go off and they think they're in love, and it's really, it's like, what can you really do? So, it's hard with the parents, but at this point, your child was dismembered. Do you not at least take the stance of, we didn't approve, but she was adamant? We don't know how to make it stop without her absolutely hating us, so we don't know what to do. But he don't get the right to, delete my child and chop my child up. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't be mad at somebody if they don't come and talk to the press or do an interview and stuff like that. Because for me, I'm just talking about me. Unless I got something specific I need to say, like, hey, this is what it is. Y'all want to get down, you can get down. Other than that, I don't got nothing to say if it's mine. Because I'm trying to be, like, I don't even want y'all to know who I am. Okay, I'm trying to be invisible. That's just me. That's just me. But it's the norm for parents to come out and say something, and we're not hearing anything. Even parents who, you could say, oh, you knew your daughter was over there, you knew your daughter was with him and all that. You chop their daughter up, they still gonna come out and be like, yeah, we want justice. Because at the end of the day, nobody's dumb. Nobody's dumb. We know that that's a very tricky situation to be in, and you wouldn't wish that on nobody, because what are the right answers? At the end of the day, the more you push against your team when it comes to some stuff like that, the more turmoil it's going to end up being, because they're going to fight. They're going to fight with no remorse. Okay? They're going to fight and not probably regret it until they in their 30s, 40s, or some shit. You know? It, and these days, children will do you. They would do you. All right, they'll be on some Mallory and Mickey type shit, So yeah, I just don't see where you're so ashamed or anything like that. I think it's weird that the parents ain't saying nothing. I really do. It's also weird that it's believed that he was paying them off. He was doing something. I would normally not entertain that. I would look at it as she was being defiant, and what could they really do? I believe he did have them under his control. That's the conversation he was having. You can't really have that kind of conversation if there isn't proof to it. Because, no, especially to her, she knows her parents more than he does. So she knows if the parents falling back or not coming over there with drama, going to the cops and just demanding or trying to round up a posse or whatever you could think of that you could try to do. She knows that's because at the end of the day, they know she's going to keep fighting and they don't want to completely lose her. Or if it's also because somebody either threatening you or paying you off. She's going to know that. It's just so much going on. When you have the neighbors who had footage, when you have accounts that the police probably know about and are using or considering and just not saying anything, because it's kind of hard to tell how much they're really, uh, you know, putting into this until they start to go to trial. But it's just so much that's overlooked, and you're not gonna tell me you're gonna find a child chopped up in a car and you're gonna be this shitty about it. I just don't see it. It's no way. It's no way. It doesn't matter. And now, if she was a black child, I wouldn't even be surprised. I'll just sit back and look and see what is going to happen. I would be surprised that he got arrested for sure. I'm surprised he got arrested now. You say 40 terabytes, that's a lot. Okay. It ain't a year lot. It's not a year lot. That's not the hold up. Why are we just now bringing him? Mm. It may take a long time for somebody to go to actual trial. Nowadays, they have them really fast. Really fast. Why did it take a year for them to arrest this dude? It's too much. Unless they had constant surveillance on him, which I seriously doubt. It's just too much that could be disposed of, gotten rid of, and whatever, up until that time. And then again, there's always the Grim Sleeper is the story we did last night. You can go back and watch that live. With this man deleting over 100 black women over 25 years, having a wife, having a son, having grandchildren, having everybody say he the man of the hood. He can get you anything. He'll fix your car. He can get you whatever you want because he's still shit or whatever. This man worked for the garbage company for a while, but then he didn't work for a long ass time, but he can get you anything, right? And it's not just stealing. Please. All these people, and then people who claim they hung out with him, males of course, on a regular, on a daily, but they want to say, oh, he's a good man, he has a good heart, he didn't do this, he didn't do this, he didn't do this, we didn't know nothing about this. But as it goes on, the daughter of the son, he was the girlfriend at the time of his son was talking about how he was abusing his son in some kind of way, how his son was involved with him with a lot of stuff. You got the same dudes that was hollering he didn't do this. They come and giving accounts after account after account of all the weird stuff they done seen him do, how they was with him and saw crazy shit, how they used to help him. The dudes was saying, because the guy had a van and he was putting women in his van. I told y'all, Freddie Gibbs, okay, if you don't know who she is, you should know. Also, he had her in that van and she whooped his ass. Yes, because she can do that. She can whoop Clarissa's ass too. I mean, you gotta know who she is. You just should. Not, you can go watch the video, you can look up yourself. She was considered the strongest woman in the world, right? Badass. She's before all of them. But she got away, right? It's a few that got away. But he was killing over 100 women and taking their picture and using a 25 every single time. And he had his friends with him sometimes. You know, but they were saying, we don't know, we not him, he cool dude. Like, he steal, but he don't do that. He help everybody, he the kind, like he ain't da. And the whole time, they got all kind of situations they talking about. One of the dudes, I mean, I clean carpets, so, you know, I clean his carpet for him a few times, and I don't know what it was, like, blood don't smell. Girls, don't we know blood smells? And we hate it, right? The way it smells. God damn it. But he claimed he didn't know what it was. It was thick like oil, but it wasn't oil. He can get oil out of people's car. That's how good he is. and he would clean that van for him. He said he cleaned that carpet at least 4 or 5 times, probably more than that. Thick, like oil, and he cleaned that carpet good for that man. And he said that the guy asked me, "Do you really think it?" He said, "It had to be." What the fuck you doing? Do you think he said anything? Because where all that gonna come from? And over and over, and everybody knew he was always with hookers. Everybody knew he was always picking up hookers. Everybody knew he had a sick obsession with hookers, just like this dude got a sick obsession with minors, right? The girls say they was with David at the same time in a relationship or whatever. Who around him didn't know that? Who around him didn't know he had a thing for minors? If that's your thing, people around you gonna know. Who around him didn't know Celeste was a minor? People who they really kept at a distance. A 13-year-old, a 14-year-old is a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old. Okay, I had my first kid. I was 13, but I was still a 13-year-old at the end of the day. We all are. Okay, Naziah Harris, with all she was that was happening with her, she's still a 13-year-old little girl. Nah, ain't no way none of them knew anything. That it's just not possible. So you go back to the Grim Sleeper. There was another guy. He said he would bring him cars, and he would have him get rid of them. Still say, what you mean get rid of them? He said they were full of blood, and I would burn them up. So you will burn them up? Yeah, I will burn them up. He said, well, what about all that blood? He said, I don't know. He said, where you think all that blood came from? It didn't bother you? He said, no, I'm just doing what was my assignment to do, or what he asked me to do. And it's story after story after story with several of these guys. Not to mention, the Grim Sleeper was taking Polaroids, and as time and technology, he was advancing to cell phone pictures and cell phone video and video camcorder, all that, right, of the women. He liked to take pictures of them while they was doing stuff, pictures of them while they was alive, and pictures of them while they was in between alive and dead after he shot them. He liked to take pictures of them with bleeding out and just still being alive and after they dead. He was like, oh boy, Dahmer that had the pictures. This guy in his own house had shoeboxes and shoeboxes of pictures. Some of the survivors talked about going to his house for playtime. He mainly was killing these women at his house, but in his van, even outside, like for the most part, or the garage. And he had a full wife, right? So the guys, when they started talking, they said, that's his wife right there that was driving by. And the guy said, oh, he went to talk to her. And they was like, no. You don't talk to the wife. Don't talk to the wife. And he didn't talk to the wife. But all these people knew about this guy. The girlfriend of his son said he was a pervert. He was a pervert. He let her and his son use the van one time. She went in the glove to get a screwdriver. He told her to hand me that screwdriver. She opened the glove up. She saw Polaroids and Polaroids of women. She saw panties in there and everything. Now this man got a wife at home, and he got these in his glove. She said she didn't think nothing of it. She just closed it back up. She said when she in the bedroom with his son, you could tell he listening at the door. He was just known to be a perverted old man, but everybody said, oh, he's nice and this and that. Same excuse for this old ugly little thing. You like his music or whatever, because can this nigga sing? Fuck no. Y'all just, whatever, for whatever reason people became fans of his. But when there's no separation between that alternate reality for play, for cosplay, or for escapism or whatever, because we all do escape when we do stuff like listen to music and everything. So that you can't really. But when that is your lifestyle for real, then people should be concerned, because you are expressing, just you are explicitly expressing that you are of the darkness, like you really about that fucking life. He expressed clearly, and I didn't know this dude until this, but when you see everything, the music, and you listen to his interviews, it's no doubt he was seriously about that life. So for me, it's no doubt from day one he did this shit. It's clear as day. It's written on the walls. It's all in his music. Then the performance after him crying and shit, and the little mock funerals and everything, bitch, bye. That shit is not funny. And the family's still quiet? You gotta be kidding me. Are they scared of something? Huh? Because he's just a kid at the end of the day. His ass is supposedly going to jail. So what would not make you express anything? Bitch, you scared of ice? Okay. What is it? I don't know. But there's some shit going on. That girl was some kind of sacrifice for some people, and I just don't think he was the only one. But how do you get to do all of that? Do all of that with blue plastic. What the fuck is that? A 3D printed saw or something? What if they found a hacksaw? Why would it be the choice that was chosen? I mean, there's a reason for everything. It's weird. The neighbors talking about the smell, and then saying when the Tesla left, the smell left. Okay, I would have reported that shit. Like, dead and decomposing, it's unmistakable. It's undeniable. If you think a dead animal smells bad, child, please. You know, and when it's there, it's there. If it's not there and it was there, baby, you're going to know it unmistakably. And you're going to absolutely know that the source was removed. And then if they thought it was their dead dog and they didn't dig up the dead dog, get rid of the dead dog, then they knew it had to be something else. And I know they nosy ass was please, your camera right on their house, yeah, right. So they had to at least suspect that that's what it was. And 9 times out of 10, that's where the reports came from for that car. Why would he leave her body in the car? That's where I'm at with it. Why would you leave her body in the car? Because to me, it's not for lack of somebody helping you. It's not for lack of... Tour didn't just pop up. They didn't just call and say, hey, you want to do a tour? Right now, come on. No, that didn't happen. So it wasn't a surprise. Of all the things you could do, okay, I'm going to kill this person. All right, I'm going to chop this person up. I'm going to put them in these bags. I'm going to throw them in the trunk. And of all of that shit, the one thing you better make sure you do, and good luck with it anyway, but the one thing you better make sure you do is what? Get rid of that shit. What could it have ever been to stop him from getting rid of her body? You're not going to tell me, because I don't care what y'all say, it takes some level of intelligence to dismember a body. Or to even think to do that. It's one thing to sit up here and say, I'm going to chop it up in pieces and this is going to help me, da-da-da-da-da-da. Or because of what? If you're doing it because of some kind of sickness, mental, like, that can create alternate you that is just, when you listen to the FedEx dude, he had a hard time with the little girl. That's how you know his ass faking about that alter ego. His self had a hard time breaking her neck and she's a kid compared to him. He had a hard time. That girl fought him for an hour. Okay, there ain't no cap in it. It's recorded. Fought him for an hour. So you being able to dismember anybody, if that's not some kind of demon shit, then you're using some serious intelligence. You need to look it up. It's not really that easy, especially if you're using something like a hacksaw or something like that. It's not going to be simple or easy, and that's not even electric. So how do you go through all of this and you leave her shit to be found? That don't make no sense. That's the part that don't make no sense. You're not supposed to be able to understand why people do stuff like this, but I, if it, for the cops to come and say to us, he did it for financial gain, sacrifice, right? He didn't want her to tell on him and lose his money, and everybody had the potential of telling on him because too many people knew and they were already talking. When they find her in the trunk, that's gonna mess with your money. It's your car, your trunk, her finger with David on it missing. It's just too many things that could even possibly get you convicted that you wouldn't have. That for no reason nobody's gonna. That's the last thing you're gonna leave up to. Well, I think it's a process. I can probably I can say my lawyer can be like, no, there's nothing you can think of in your dumbass head to make you think that you got slim of a chance of getting away with murder, right? So you're gonna try to cover everything, and that would definitely be the body. If you're leaving the body in the trunk of a car to decompose, and you into all this dark shit, you got to know what that's like. You got to know what decomposition is. You got to know about the insects. Okay? I don't care if you got the trunk closed. They come from the inside. All right? They grow from within. All right? The smell, the fluids and everything. Okay? The heat and all that. I could go on, but I don't want to give y'all nightmares because it's that deep. When you talk about a body goes back and becomes the earth, that is a process that happens with or without anybody's help. That's serious business. Serious business. And for some reason, it happens faster with humans than animals, and maybe it's the water percentage, aka the leakage. There is no way there's not going to be something there with all of this that it would be his. Hair, DNA, something. There's no way. Nobody's leaving that body. And you chopped it up. That's more being involved with the body that you're doing. It's one thing if okay, I ain't even have to touch it, get that close. So we can just wrap this up some way. I got on, I'm covered, like no hair on, like nothing. You, it's too risky. No matter how careful you try to be, you don't want to touch the body or come near the body. How can you avoid that when you're the one doing it? So you don't want them to find that body. That's the last thing you want them to find. That's their job, baby. They're gonna find something. I don't care if it's a piece of hair or a drop of blood, they're gonna find it. Why would you chance that? There's no way it makes sense to leave that body there for no reason. I don't care who was saying, let's go, it's time to go. This supposed to happen last minute. I don't believe that last minute shit. I don't believe she was deceased as long as they're trying to say she was. Now, who else is with me on that? Tell me I'm wrong. She's not that decomposed. She's not that decomposed. She's what they're calling advanced decomposed or severely decomposed. There's so many levels to decomposition. There's so many levels of decomposition. And for her to even be in a hot car, I just keep seeing like my father's body, right? That's a decomposing body that I've seen untouched. Untouched, right? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. She wasn't that decomposed. She wasn't. She wasn't. There's a now that's just where I'm at with it. Why did they leave the body there? And yes, the manager, all of them saying they didn't know about it. They knew about it. They knew, they knew, they knew, they knew. They knew. Listen, these people knew the dynamics of their relationship. They knew what they talked about. They knew what he was doing, what she was doing, what he thought she was doing, she thought he was doing. They knew what they fussed about. They knew his sick thoughts, right? He not only talked about it, he had little crazy shit that he does because, yeah, you better believe he practicing something. And his music, they're around these people, him and Celeste. They know enough to know that this guy did something to her. They knew he was gonna do something or thinking about doing something to her. They knew that. They knew he was capable of it as well because they know him and they know he don't feel shit. He don't care. At the end of the day, he's a fucking walking demon. So when she's not around anymore, they can look at where he's going with the music and the way he's acting. They know he did. They knew all this time that he had killed that girl. They knew. They knew. And her parents knew, but she wasn't a missing girl until he killed her, right? Planned, but not sudden. Not sudden. Just at a time where he's about to go on tour, and it had to happen in his mind. It had to happen before then. It wasn't something, oh, I can do it when I get back. You know, I'm pretty sure if we're testing the theory if she was going to tell somebody, I mean, maybe they got some kind of, communications between them that she's saying that. So maybe she did, maybe they did, that happened. But it doesn't make her the only person that can really fuck him up. If you're going to get her, you might as well get everybody. Could she have been pissed enough to where he's like, okay, they can, but they not pissed at me like this. I don't know. Could she have found out about the other girls? Likely they would have known she found out about them, maybe. So I don't know. Do I think she knew he was doing other things? Yes. He's a fucking celebrity. Anybody messing with somebody like that, who everybody's crazy about him, they know they do getting down. They have to some level consented to some tolerance level to some degree. I think it was just some more sick shit, sinister shit going on, and some his sexual desires is pretty out there, right? That and it would really have people like, what the fuck? I do think, like I said before, him and old boy, his friend, I think they fucking. I actually think they fond of each other. I think dude is in love with him, but I just think it's a lot going on there. I think that guy might have helped him. He definitely, he had help, even if it wasn't help doing it, even if it wasn't help putting it in the bags and whatever. He had help, because when you talk about actually doing it and actually putting her body in the bags and putting it in the trunk, if it's him at that time and more, another person, No two dumb motherfuckers gonna walk away saying, "Oh, she be good in this trunk," while we go on tour and we come back. If you can know enough to know whatever you did so far to get her body in pieces, from the killing her to whatever you used and shit like that, and ain't no detectives walking there see no whole bunch of blood or whatever. I'm not sure where the spot was or anything, but I'm gonna have to call him back. There had to be some thoughtfulness into it, just like the creativity that goes into the songs, the videos. I watched the one he was explaining the My Nightmare. What's that song he got? This like YM Melly song. I forgot. Um, he tried to explain the song, and it just sounded like he trying to cover his ass on the Smile Channel. It sounds like he's trying to cover his ass while he's explaining the meaning to that song. He did a good job, but he's pretty open otherwise about his darkness, and there is just no way you can just be creative, and you're not gonna be creative when it comes time to get rid of her, and you're gonna walk away and you're gonna leave her there. Either that it was supposed to be done, it was done on purpose, or he messed up. And if he messed up, then there's quite a few people upset with him because you were supposed to do it and not mess up that bad. If he didn't leave her in that trunk, she would have never been found. She would have never been found. It's too many hands in this. It's too many hands in this, and it's hands that you guys would not believe. You go look at a Grim Reaper story, and that's not the only one. There's more. There's more. There's more. I'm definitely gonna be talking about that shit too. But the police were involved with that. That dude was working for the police. It hasn't been proven, but I mean, the community believed it. It's just too many things that point to it. It's too many things that point to it. They even arrested one of their police guys one time for some of those serial murders of black women, and his name was Ricky Ross, as a matter of fact. And they ended up letting him go. But that guy was working for the police. I didn't went through the story. Some of these people are funded and supported and protected. This is the evil, demonic world of chaos and destruction and devilish doing. Ain't no human shit going on around here. You're not just slaughtering people left and right, fathers killing their children and all this other kind of stuff, and we still all operating. We got this type of government. I mean, everything that's going on. My buddy just said we in the last days, so you can look at it like that, but it is up and stuck right now. It's up and stuck right now, and that I will always say that Celeste and David case is on some other shit. Okay, it's on some other shit. It's on some satanic type shit, and not just like him, we would never truly understand and know what this was all about. But to me, the writing's on the wall, and it's clear as fucking day. And it's a toss up on whether or not this dude would be somewhat or good, in a like really punished for this, because it could go either way. They're gonna use you and they're gonna put your ass down at the same time, or lead us to believe they put you down and you off somewhere else. They don't have no problem returning them back and letting them go again. Just like they just let the Grim Reaper slide for years and years and years. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a sick situation, and it's a shame, because too many people, and I guarantee you it's more than two handfuls of people that really know some shit, and nobody gonna speak up for her. They ain't done it yet. It's been a year. Nobody's gonna speak up for her. Nobody's gonna speak up for her. And to be honest, it's for some people who can speak up. It's not even a anything to be mad at them about, because they're not necessarily with the shit or in on the shit. It's just that they know if they talk, it's a wrap. You know, they already know. They know too much about who's all involved and what can happen with that. So I'm out of here. I'm about to return this.